Happy Wednesday, y'all. Happy Wednesday. Got a new face here today. You're not missing nobody. They're on an assignment in for Brian Fulford, Keith Hadley here with the OGs, Kelvin Rozier, Marcus Green, and we always got Kofi there in spirit.
For sure. What up, fellas?
Doing pretty solid, doing pretty well. Good news going on the highest of Seven Hills when you can get news, right?
It's actually a lot in a lot of different arenas that we got to get to that we can discuss. There's a lot going on.
Well, first let's kind of look over here at the comments, look at the chat, look and see, get some of these shout outs going on, and let us know how everybody, who we see up there. Mary 305, I see you. Let's see who was there first. Oh, look, is that Kenneth? Okay,
that's Ken.
Look, Kenneth was first. Ashton, we see you there. What's up, family?
South Florida, Pensacola.
Okay.
Kenneth is in Apopka, but Ash is Picola.
Okay, Kenneth, he's probably on the corner from me. Okay,
starting already.
What's up, bull? We see you up there. Tabra T. Okay, what's up, Mary 305? James Austin. Okay.
See what up, Duval, Marvin Allen, and Jimmy McDaniel.
Look, we need some of y'all folks in Duval to see if y'all can parlay some of that spirit to get that Florida Classic up there for a year or something.
Yeah, but that's a discussion now. For me, it should be a discussion.
It should be. Just saying. And as y'all can see, support the show, like, share, subscribe. But also, Giving Tuesday just passed. So don't forget, if you're feeling, as Brian said, you want to give a cup of coffee a little bit more. Don't forget, PCSN, leave a little donation. We'll put a QR code up there. James, we're not even going to do that yet. Folks still got jobs. It's National Signing Day. We just ain't had nobody sign with FAMU. What it looked like, right, Marcus?
Nobody, baby.
Oh man. So, and what kind of Marcus, we're gonna try to make sure we get your review for what the game was on, especially probably right around when Gerald comes on. So we'll give you a moment to think about it, but as of for right this moment, right this moment, y'all ready to jump into that first segment there?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, man. Look, I guess when folks come over to FAMU, they might have hit the lottery. We're getting reports of John Davis getting a hefty salary of about $250,000 to be the athletic director of FAMU. I believe the contract is a 1-year deal and a $75,000 signing bonus.
Well, it's $75,000 more than his base pay as the lottery secretary. Yeah, and we don't know yet if there's other incentives involved with it or not. But that's kind of the market, has been the market as the AD position at the university. That's kind of high for someone with no experience.
Yeah.
You don't start at the top of the pay scale. You should go to the bottom. But we know that this isn't necessarily a earned assignment. So
I think also though, and kind of with your experience there, Kelvin, like you kind of mentioned, like you've worked at FAMU as well, but coming in with that high of a salary, that definitely has some questions there. Just for me, the fan, but also me, the alumni, is kind of, how does it get pushed up that high, especially with the salary? But then, what are some of the incentives that could potentially put him into that area to where he might be even making more than that?
Before I answer that question, let me I need to give a couple of more shout outs.
Oh.
What's up, Mr. Body? And what's up, nephew? Mr. Calhoun. Mr. Calhoun. Hello. All right, Larry Sargent and Emmett Jones, T. Davis, Chuck Hunt, Nashville, Tennessee, by way of Monroe, Louisiana. A area. VM Matt, what's happening? And B Stars, what's the dealio? Marcus, Key West, what's happening? And James High, James Austin, what's Jeremy T? What's the deal? Richard Lane, what's up? All right. Now, in terms of incentives, who knows? I would hope there's no incentives built in this contract. What the hell for? And this is not a multi-year deal. Like it's not a 3-year deal. So, yeah, earn your stripes. You're already getting overpaid. So hopefully that there's no kind of incentives with this particular thing, but we'll see.
Yeah, 1 year deal. And that's partially so that they can get through the red tape. You know, we do know that this was not something that went before the board of trustees or board of governors, anything like that. It was pretty much he was appointed and he's got the job and he's there. So, you know, we'll see how long he's going to be there.
To that point, people are asking a lot of questions right now. You don't supposed to start till January, but we got some decisions that are important right now.
Yes.
Got a board of trustees meeting
tomorrow,
right?
And Friday.
Tomorrow and Friday. The committee meetings are tomorrow, and the actual full board meeting is Friday. We got coaches on vacation. I'm just saying.
Coach has been MIA for a whole week almost. Post game Saturday.
You know, Kelvin, when he gets that look, I'm gonna take my glasses off so I can do it. When he gets that look like something's up.
But I mean, back to that point of the board of governors thing, though, especially when you're starting to consider, you know, this Florida Doge thing is real. And one of the things they are looking at is, you know, waste, fraud, and abuse. And they don't care. They haven't cared, even though you would think they would be more aligned a certain direction. Y'all saw how they called out New College. And I would be very surprised if FAMU doesn't end up on that list somewhere within the next 2 to 3 months if they do a Doge audit of FAMU. I'm just leaving that there.
Well, I think this is the year that the session starts early. I think it starts in January because it alternates every year. And this is also election year, so I would think it's probably going to be very measured. It won't be as chaotic as it has been over the last 3 because there are consequences, potential consequences.
Very much, especially, you know, some metrics aren't met. At least that's what they said. That's what they said.
Yeah, we shall see. Marcus, what you think about the AD and the salary and everything?
Well, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. And just having someone come in who hasn't even been in a chair in the athletics department, much less the big chair. You know, I don't know. It's just like more or less seems like a money grab. And so now you have 2 inexperienced people. You know, from an athletic standpoint, you have the president and the AD. And the president, I think, is ultimately accountable for athletics, according to the NCAA.
Absolutely.
And we have an inexperienced AD who's coming from the Florida lottery. And I can't speak on his business experience. I know he was, I think, head of the Orlando Chamber of Commerce or Tampa Chamber of Commerce. And he was, while in the lottery, he dealt a lot with the Florida Sports Commission. I believe that's the right name. Whoever puts on the major events in the Florida, and probably had a working relationship with VP Suggs at that time. So they probably know each other from that. But other than that, what familiarity does he have with any of the NCAA rules and how it's managed? What does he know in depth about the problems that we've seen at FAMU as it relates to athletics. Especially, one of the things that, going on almost like a 20-year crusade wading through APR and compliance. And so how is he going to help address that? Does he have any experience in that? Were there any things that lapsed, from our previous AD, from AD Sykes, where for I guess a 1 or 2 year period, we seem like we're doing pretty well with compliance? Were those sustainable? And if not, why not? And what is he going to do to get it back? And that's specifically for football, because it seemed like every other sport's handling their business.
Yeah, and to your point, I would tell you, any kind of NCAA communications that goes to a university goes to two people, and it's the two people you just mentioned. It goes to the president of the university and the NCAA, sometimes faculty rep, depending on what it is, but absolutely the president and the AD. And so Ms. Suggs' role is paramount, given that situation. Yeah.
And that's the other question I was asking, is he basically just collecting a check and riding off her coattails because she has experience?
Yeah. So we will have more conversation
in a few months. And I think that's an important question.
Maybe in a few days. Again, I'm anxious to see what kind of athletic report they'll give to the board, because we've got some potential decisions in terms of personnel. We know we got a lot of open positions. We got some potential decisions in terms of we already on NCAA sanctions. So we got an APR report that has been submitted to the university at this point for the current period, which would be, they're always a year behind, so it should be the 24 season. Mm-hmm. So they know what those scores are, and depending on how they look, there's a response that the university has to give back to the NCAA. Then, of course, there's budget things. So we'll need to hear something immediately. Yeah.
And I think that APR is going to influence some other decisions that we kind of hinting at. I think tomorrow, if you are a Rattler, that's concerned with everything, but especially how athletics and academics mix, the next 2 days are going to be something paramount that you really want to pay attention to. I would be very surprised if day one the conversation isn't had, because one of the things that, I don't care how you feel about the 8 individuals, or whatever you want to call them, but most of them were at the games this season, and a lot of them were at multiple games this season. And so the same way you watched us lose and I watched us lose, they watched it. And they not only watched it, a lot of times they watched it from the box, and it was on the field, and they watched it with dignitaries and other people. And some of them dignitaries asked the same questions that we asked: how fam you losing these people?
Yeah. So we want to transition to, before Jared come on, we want to hit our basketball results right quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're on mute, Keith.
Absolutely. It wasn't what we hoped for. It's a little bit of what we feared. Okay, I called this on Monday, but we were winning for most of these games. I mean, so it's not something where they just weren't playing well at all, but they just couldn't pull out the win. The ladies do lose this one 70-63. I don't like how they did that background color. I'm trying to see if there's like a better way, but nah, we need to work on that graphics team on that.
I was at that game along with Miss Gail and my normal crew, and you're correct. We went into the half. We led, I think, all the way to the third quarter, and then by the end of the third quarter, we had lost our lead. I think we was down at 3 at the end of the third quarter, and I'm encouraged in some ways because I didn't realize that JU was 5-1. That included a victory over Georgia Tech. I was shocked when I was sitting there looking at that because they're not a very big team unless we just look good for a change. They didn't look like a very good team, to be honest. Or even though they pulled this game out. So it's encouraging because I was able to sit and stay all the way through, and we were in it pretty much. That fourth quarter, the concerning part for me was the fourth quarter was the same as the fourth quarter was all last year. Remember, we lost about 9 games last year where we couldn't hold leads, and the same things reared their ugly head. I think probably 10 of the last 12 points that JU had was from the foul line, and of course, I question 1 or 2 of them fouls, but again, we fouled in turnovers. We didn't have a whole bunch of turnovers, but the timing of those turnovers, I think we had about 4 in the last 2 minutes at least.
Cool.
So that kind of is what how they was able to hold on and win. But it was encouraging that at least through 3 quarters, we shot the ball better. I really like Pure 4. I just wish she had about 4 more inches on her because she is fearless. She's cat quick. She's got a great handle, and she actually has got a really pretty good 3-point shot, to be honest. She plays real fast. Of course, they're gonna try to post up in the half court. But one thing I think this team can do well potentially, and I hope that we start to see this. I know last year Coach Presser sprung it on them. They waited to conference play, but I wish we got this personnel to do it. I wish we'd just go ahead and do it because I think it'll be a difference maker. Since this team struggles in half court like most other teams have. Coach Pressure, I wish we would show more pressure. I wish we'd do a lot more pressing and traps and get some easy transition basket. We have bigs that can run the floor now. We're a pretty long team, but we don't have 3-point shooters. And to be honest, regardless of what people say, we really have 1 point guard. We have a couple of girls who can dribble for a minute, but they're not point guards. They can't make the plays. They can't create for others. They turn the ball over at a high rate when they're pressured. So because we don't shoot threes that well, and we don't have a real good half-court offensive team, that's when we turn over. When we get easy basket in motion, we good. We got to press. We got to press and speed up the game, trying to get some easy basket. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to be encouraging. And we were close. We were competitive. So I'm hoping that that's a trend in the right direction.
I think that's important though. Like you're seeing some growth, and I think that may open up a new portion of the offense. Like when you're kind of looking and saying, "Hey, these are some of the things I see, but these are also some of the things I think we can do." I think that's highly important for this. When you're looking at this team in general, for me, it's just I've seen us for year after year, and I see a lot of the same. But when you do start seeing that some of these players are flashing, that shows that coach, she got an eye for talent. Now, we got to see the talent get developed. And I think that's some of the questions we may have as far as when we're watching basketball in general. But, we're specific to our program. I do wonder a little bit about talent development. I know Coach, she's passionate and she's knowledgeable, but can we see her knowledge transfer from her, the expert, the Olympian, the NCAA champion, and the Hall of Famer, to the student athlete who is following in her footsteps?
Yeah, attention to detail. We're not going to have a long window to be able to get away with. Our talent can't overcome some of our shortcomings, right? So we have to we have to protect the ball. We can't turn the ball over because we're not going to shoot 40% from the field. You're not going to see that with this team. So understanding who you are and what your strengths and weaknesses are, I think, like, as you pointed to, is going to be important.
Yeah, and it almost sounds more like, short people basketball. And I hate to say that, but I know for me in general, I'm under 6 feet, so I crash the board a lot, and I was quick, and so I crash the board, get the ball, throw it back out there. We're gonna have to be able to recover possessions. We just have to be more tenacious than the other team.
Yes,
and we got Gerald in the background, but let's get to the men's game first. 85-82 overtime. It was another one that was close. I still cannot stand those jerseys, but it is what it is.
it is.
Yeah.
Until those are not the permanent jerseys we were supposed to be playing in.
No, I don't. Right. I almost don't understand how we wear them. So yeah.
But with this one, you make your free throws. I know it's the center, but with 1 point some seconds left, you had 2 free throws. All you gotta do is make one of them, and we get out of there with the W. So that did not happen. We again another game where we went into the half with the lead. Well, it was 43-39, about a 4-point lead, and the game was pretty tight throughout. When you're a team, this is a new team. I look at them a lot different than I do the women's team. Coaches are new, players are new. They've not played as many games. This was only their 5th game. They've been off for a week and a half since their last game. So they're still learning each other. And again, they still don't even have all their pieces, but this was, of course, a winnable game, and they were competitive. So I'm hoping
shot lights out from deep as well.
Yeah, that was surprising. That kind of percentage, 61.9% from the 3-point line. That is incredible. That's unheard of. And it wasn't just one guy. It wasn't like just one guy got hot. Everybody shot pretty good. So now we're getting ready to play in this Orlando tournament Friday and Saturday, and we're playing NAIA school in Tuskegee,
Barbara Scotia. Yeah.
So
we should come away with some wins.
There you go. We should have some swag, some confidence after this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know it was on. I didn't realize it was on ESPN Plus until I saw Liv's tweet saying that we had 2 free throws with 1 second left or 1.7 seconds left and a chance to win. So I was like, oh crap! So let me scramble and turn it on. And then by the time that was on, they were getting ready to jump up, for the overtime jump ball. And I was like, oh man, I guess we didn't make the free throws, or they made a lucky shot or something. And then it seemed like in the overtime, we just couldn't get a stop. I mean, I don't know who it was. They kept calling a freshman guy, but he was like all over the place, either bucking jump shots or on a pick and roll and just getting to the rim. And I was like, dang. And even still, we had a chance to tie. And I think, I can't remember which player it was, had a corner 3 lined up when it was 85-82, and it was just short. It rimmed. It hit the front rim or hit the side rim, and then they got the rebound and just ran the clock out.
Yeah, this game, I like the certain stats I pay attention to every game. We shot 61.9 with 62% from 3-point range, and we shot 58.9 from the field, almost 60%. I mean, to shoot that well, you think, well, how do you lose? Well, I'll answer that for you. We shot 50% from the free throw line. We didn't make our free throws. We missed half of our free throws. We also got out rebounded by six, which I don't think was a big issue. But the next 2 things, the next one especially, is we doubled them in turnovers. We turned the ball over 17 times. We only created 9 turnovers. So that's how you lose a close game in overtime on the road, when you don't make your free throws and you turn the ball over double.
Craziness, man. So Tough FAMU loss there. But let's take a quick commercial break. Give a little time on the other side of the commercial break. We got special guest 3-Pete G, first of the first. Gerald Thomas III is going to come in, and we're going to try to get a little bit of his feedback from the Mississippi Valley State game. Him and Marcus, you got Kelvin and I for the Monday review show, but we got Gerald on here and also kind of talk about the article he just wrote. Is he playing devil's advocate or not? We're going to see, man, on the other side of this commercial break. It's the O&G StrikeZone.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Planning an event? From weddings to corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC brings over 15 years of experience to make your vision a reality. Based in Metro Atlanta and serving statewide, even internationally, we provide versatile event planning and authentic catering cuisines tailored to your needs. Whether it's pre-game meals for student athletes, fundraisers, weddings, corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC is your one-stop solution for exceptional service and unforgettable food. Our diverse culinary heritage means we cater to all cultural tastes, dietary needs, and food restrictions, making every meal uniquely yours. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Visit us on all social media at CMJ Events LLC or email us at cmjeventsllc@gmail.com. Also give us a call at 404-664-3882 so that we can start planning now.
College football fans, a champion will rise in Atlanta on December 13th. MEAC champion, SWAC champion, the 10th Cricket Celebration Bowl, crowning an HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year. Returning to Atlanta on December 12th, 4 bands will qualify for the big stage, where 2 national champions will be crowned. Follow us for rankings updates throughout the season, and join us on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
Back to the O&G, and we got 3-Pete G with us, man. What's up, Gerald?
Hey, what's going on, y'all, man? Appreciate y'all for having me. Good. I think it's Wednesday. Good Wednesday. I'm fresh off of vacation, so you lose track of the days sometimes. But glad to be on with y'all to talk about some orange and green, man.
Absolutely. We missed Gerald post game. So we didn't get to hear your take and kind of how you felt, and you really want to hear about how you and Marcus felt about that Mississippi Valley State game and and just kind of having the season end like that.
Yeah, well, I was able to catch the bits and pieces of the game when I was able to have some connection in the middle of that water, but bad way to go out and lose to Mississippi Valley again. I mean, last year nobody expected FAMU to lose to Mississippi Valley, and then this year, even though they lost to them last year, you didn't expect them to lose to them this year. So I think that just encapsulated just the whole season, man. Like I always felt like that game would kind of be a trap game, not when it was in October, but when it got placed to after Thanksgiving. I'm like, it's after the Classic. If you win the Classic, players can say, we won the Classic. It's over with. You lose the Classic, it can, have a trickle effect and going into the last game. And I don't think the players really look like they gave up or anything like that. They look like they played hard, but It just came a time where, FAMU has won a lot of late games and shit, and, eventually they come back to bite you, and they came back to bite them in a place like Mississippi Valley, which a lot of players say is the hardest place to play because of the travel and everything that you got to do, all the hurdles you got to jump through to get there in the first place. So, tough way to go out.
Marcus?
Yeah, I feel the same way. And, we talked about it last week that could you have a little hangover from the last second loss to Bethune in the Florida Classic, in addition to the extreme travel. We have to fly into Jackson and either stay there and bus in overnight, and just the environment, the end of the season, you're trying to get things over with. And I mean, you would hope that, unlike how we perceived last year, that may have been a little bit of overconfidence or maybe a disregard of Valley, that I hope that wasn't the case this time, just because of the upset last year. And Valley came out. I mean, they came out to play. I mean, there was, I don't know, like 200. I don't know how many the official time, but I saw like 200 people in there. And the stands were empty, so you had no motivation. At least I saw some fan people there. They did show them on the camera. So I mean, they played hard, but it just seemed like Gerald said, like everything during the season that impacted our ability to win happened in the game. We had with the third string, fourth string quarterback coming out looking like a Heisman candidate. And they seemed to pick on one side of the field and throwing the ball. It was back and forth, and I was worried about a shootout because all it takes is one bad series or one series where we have to punt or a turnover, and then things flip. And that's exactly what happened. And we did have the most turnovers, most interceptions by one quarterback. Oh, no, I think he tied. I think Jet had 3 versus Alabama State or one. But, RJ had 3 interceptions, and I didn't look and see, but I don't know if all of them led to scoring drives too. So they were costly. Well, 2 of them led to scoring drives, and one was the
game in there.
The game, yeah. They're getting the victory formation. So they were real costly. And if I remember correctly, the same player who's from the Tallahassee area, I think it's from Gadsden, got all 3 interceptions. And there was a strong FAMU tie on the Valley side from former players. I think Khalil Hunter played for them. Isaiah Pedak, he and that other defensive end that jumped in the portal today were tearing us up. Isaiah Pedak was an offer we made for class of 2023.
Yeah.
And I think there's at least one other.
He was actually committed to FAMU.
That's what I thought, and I was looking for that. So he had, committed to FAM. You had Khalil Hunter. You had the young man from Gadsden County. You had Marco Dubeck, the kicker. He was on the team up until I think the spring of the summer. So he was part of that exodus in the summer. Don't know the reasons why, whether it was a cut, whether it was by design or by his desire, or whatever. So there was like at least 4 or 5. Plus you had, and I look back at the old list, and I don't want to open that can of worms, but I look back at the list from January 2024 of applicants for the open position, and Terrell Buckley applied. So you had a whole lot, and there's at least one player I think who went out there, Kamari Scurry from. I didn't see him listed on the roster, but I think he was at least offered. We offered him, but I think Valley offered him last year. He was a class of 2025 player. I think he's from Madison County. So there's a lot of Big Bend type motivation that Valley had, in addition to wanting to win the game, wanted to prove it's not a fluke. And so came out and executed, and we didn't.
Well, so to that point,
of course,
to that point. So, Gerald, talk about the article that you put out there, and what is it that you sense from Rattler Nation and about how we feel about this season?
What I sense from y'all want them gone. Y'all want them gone.
Hey, you're a Rattler too.
Yeah, man. It's a rough situation to be in. I know everybody kind of sitting on the edge of their seat trying to see what's going to happen next. It's been kind of quiet. I know last week was the Thanksgiving holiday and things, so that might slow down the process. Anything, maybe they, maybe having their conversations internally on what's happened. Maybe they, fielding out some candidates on the low a little bit, before they make a move. So I think everybody just waiting to see what's gonna happen. I mean, honestly, me personally, and this is not with any intel or anything, I feel like if nothing happens this week, I kind of start holding my breath for, I'm like, we done got the Wednesday now, so but maybe something come out tomorrow. I know it's a board of trustees meeting on Friday, so maybe something come out of that. But I don't know, man. I was trying to kind of look at it in both ways. I mean, he had to flip a roster from Coach Simmons' era fresh off a championship, but also you got to take some accountability too, because you changed up your whole coaching style, your coordinators. You had all new coordinators and regressed. So, and it was like a bad regression too. So, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm waiting to see what's gonna happen with everybody else. But regardless of what happened, I'm gonna be prepared either way.
Cheers. I got 2 articles written.
Marcus, what's your thought on the season and Coach Cozy specifically situation?
Well, I mean, I did have my perspective on it, and like Gerald alluded to, there were a lot of things. And I think I mentioned to you guys last week. I think we may have been slightly delusional, thinking that it was a reload, considering how many players we lost, the graduation, and jumped in the portal once Coach Simmons left. Because I had that pulled up. We were like 26 players that left, not including graduates. And so that was a total refresh, not a refresh. That was like a total rebuild for the team. And you lost 2 of your best defensive players in General Hunt and Anthony Dunn. And you lost the leadership due to graduation on your quarterbacks on both sides of the ball. And other things, administrative type things. But that said, also, we didn't have a good showing against the top teams in HBCU football this year. So that's a year removed from all the turmoil. So we didn't have good showings. We lost the Valley, again, and things were just too close. And like you're saying, the defense regressed. And I haven't compared numbers to numbers because I was waiting till the season end to look at the NCAA numbers, and I do my annual comparison of whether we went up or down to the previous year. But just from the eyeball test, our defense went down. I mean, really, really. I mean, this isn't compared to the championship defense, which is a hard measure, but it went down compared to what we had last year. I mean, we just weren't giving up 30 a week, especially to the lower, the teams that appear to be on the same level that we are this year. We were not giving up 30 plus points to them. And this year it was almost automatic. And that's why I was worried when we were up 34, what were we up, say 31-27? Because we were up 24-14, if I remember correctly, against Valley. And I was like, you can't let them score. You got to stop them. And we did not. And then they just kept going. And it was emblematic of what we've seen on the defensive side, where we just couldn't get stops consistently when we needed to.
Yeah, my take is my comfort level would typically be everybody gets 3 years. Typically, that would be my position, right? When you lose the Valley twice, and you lose how you lost the Florida Classic, that's just hard for me to get over that. And then when I project next year, where we got to go to Jackson, we got to go to Montgomery, we got to go to South Carolina State, Orangeburg. We got to –
okay.
Yeah, we play UM, the University of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing positive to look forward to based on what I saw the last 2 seasons.
Yes, and on top of that, like you said, and Gerald pointed out, you're getting killed by good teams. Like both teams in the SWAC championship defeated you, And the last time you played Jackson State, they beat the fool out of you. The last time you played Prairie View, they beat you in an upset in a game that you could have easily won. So you got mud stomped by Alabama State. Should have lost to Albany State. Got curb stomped by North Carolina Central, and you don't see anything getting better. Like you said, the defense is regressing. That's an issue, and I'm with you. I'm normally on 3 years. 3 years is the standard, and I was there. 6-6, I was like, okay, I can stomach it. 5-7, and I lost to Valley 2 years in a row.
I mean, we didn't beat anybody in the East outside of Alabama A&M. We in the East.
And that game felt like a loss.
Absolutely. We barely won that one.
It did. I think that's the other part too.
Like a lot of wins felt like losses this year.
Yeah.
I mean, well, not a lot because there wasn't a lot of winning, but the few wins felt like losses. Really brought on.
I was about to say, I can't think of a win that we walked out of brag or walked out or turned the TV off and was like, man, that felt good to win. It was like, I'm glad we won, but every win felt like you survived. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we won that game. Like, no, you survived. I think just looking back at it right now, you beat Albany State by what's that, 8 points?
8 points.
Then you go down to Alcorn State, what's that, 5 points? Like, Southern is your biggest win. Oh no, that's what, 8 points again? Like, there was nobody that you beat. Like, you won, but you ain't beat nobody.
Mm-hmm. Can't pull out no belt on nobody
at all. But then you turn around when somebody serious plays you, man, there was no belt. They just went and said, get a switch. Like, that was the worst of it. I was sick of a football season being told to get a switch.
In your house.
That part. 3
of them was in your house. So, yeah, it's just kind of tough for me, to be honest. That's what we do on O&G here. We talk about what we see. We give our honest opinion on what we see. It's tough for me to have to see this again in year 3. It's just, I ain't got the appetite for it right now.
They know what one of my sayings was in the press box this year. I'm tired of wasting my Saturdays, man.
Look, man,
I wasted a lot of Saturdays this fall.
So, and on the other side of that article, right, when you're looking at the where does FAMU go forward? If you keep Cozy, National Signing Day or early signing day so far has been a bust. Like, we could call that a bust. Like, you've had kids commit, but I ain't seen not nary one kid signed to FAMU today. And I know Marcus and I, we recruiting guys, and I was checking all day and I ain't seen nothing. But where do you go forward if you keep Cozy? And that's where we'll start there.
Y'all want me to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know where to even start, honestly. Man, I feel like you got rid of everybody last year. So, like, do you even redo your whole staff again? It come a time where you got to look in the mirror, and I feel like, and this is me talking, I feel like somebody else should call the defense moving forward. Next year, somebody else should call the defense just because what's going on isn't working. Honestly, I felt like when you got them 3 consecutive 40 balls put on your head at Bragg, you can do a mid-season change. We're going to pass it off to him. Just like last year when they switched from Joseph Henry to Henry Burrs to call the plays. I feel like moving forward, you got to switch the the play calling. I mean, the recruiting, I feel like the recruiting isn't a problem because you had a top recruiting class in the FCS coming into the season. But I think, you got to better utilize those guys to get on the field. I do think you should bring in another quarterback to compete for the job next year. If Cozy stays and RJ stays, I think you should bring in another quarterback to compete.
Who gonna come in though? If Cozy stay and RJ stay. I mean, based on what happened this year.
Yeah, because like, are you gonna get a fair shot at the job? I get
right.
That freshman for Jacksonville might be it if he stays committed.
Yeah, and I see he's still getting offers. So
Yeah, he is.
So we'll see if he even stick when February come around, whenever he decide to sign. So yeah, a main thing for me is the defense. We need a different outlook and play call on that defense side, just because it's just not working. Like, the stats are showing it. It's not no dissing nobody. The stats are showing that this defense is not good. So maybe you let Thompson call the defensive plays. I mean, he's a defensive coordinator, but he got input, but he not calling it from the box. So wherever the defensive play caller will call plays from. So that's the main thing for me. And like I said, quarterback, but y'all made a good point. And also retaining guys. You've seen a lot of those players enter the portal.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. I got some slides. We've got at least 6 players who are already in the portal.
Yeah,
that have publicly announced it.
And your all SWAC kicker is in the portal. The only all SWAC first team is in the portal. Kicker in the portal, man. Like, so you're gonna try to have to retain some of those guys that you really want to keep, but you're gonna have to, if you're gonna keep them, make sure you utilize those guys, especially like the skilled players and all that stuff too.
So you going to where I'm finna go, and this might be a little smoky what I'm about to do here, but it is what it. I mean, hear the word I'm finna say. If you retain Cozy, number one, all volunteer coaches have to go. Period. I need people who are getting paid to make the decisions. Not me. Somebody like me on the side, supposed to be volunteering, and I'm influencing things. So that would be number one for me. Get rid of the volunteer coach. Then number two, I think you're absolutely correct, and you better recruit kids that you got. We talking about recruiting kids out in the portal and high school, but we got to keep some of those kids. You got to remember, we got 31 seniors on this team and grad students, and our entire defense literally is gone.
That might be
I think it's about 20 of the 22 pretty much gone. So and I'm not saying that's good or bad, but at the end of the day, what I am saying is you got to replace that whole defense anyway. So I agree. For whatever reasons, things didn't work. And if I look at who's in the portal so far, remember, the portal don't technically open for transfers until January
2nd.
And I'm looking at but I'm looking at all except one of the guys who are in the portal, and I'm like, what is your locker room culture like? Because a lot of those kids in the portal are really good kids. They were good contributors. They're the kind of kids you want in the locker room. They're good students. They don't cause any trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kids that you want to retain, frankly.
You got a local kid in the
yes,
portal. Man, that hurt my heart. I was
you
mad.
Got a local kid. You got a local kid in the portal that the starter of his position also entered the portal.
Yeah.
That hurt my heart.
He trying to leave the crib.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have a starter spot.
Right.
And that speaks to me to the culture, less of the actual program. Because from what I know, that student athlete loves FAMU. It's a culture problem.
Yeah.
And I think to kind of wrap a bow around, if you retain Colsey, I think the other part is from that administrative side, you have to find a different way to sell the product. Like, if you're going to retain him as a head coach, and this ain't me trying to push nobody out. I've yet to call for somebody just to straight up fire this, fire that. Because I do understand the legal ramifications of when FAMU just recklessly fires people, right? We literally paid Earl Holmes and Clement Johnson a lot of money for stuff like that. But I think you have to then get to the next phase of how do you sell this product what do you sell as products? How do you get people to retain season tickets and potentially want to buy season tickets? Because much like Kelvin said, don't nobody want to pay to watch that. Not when you getting B2A from the good teams and the one or two good teams that might come in to brag stand a chance to give you a beating. Like FAMU has not lost to Southern. I can't remember the last time. Was it maybe like one of the MEAC SWAC championships?
2006 or somewhere around there?
Yeah. Was that like Birmingham? Because I think I was at that game.
I think it was in Atlanta.
We lost one in Atlanta.
It was the Atlanta Football Classic in 2012.
Yeah. So it's like Southern's coming here and they got a new coach. I don't know how much weight you want to put on that, but you lose to a first-year coach like that at home. I'm expecting a Herm Edwards or Earl Holmes type situation to happen in the end zone.
Pat it back on the end zone. On the pack itself.
3 taps on the shoulders, just real quick.
So then let's talk about the opposite end. We said if he stays, some of the things that need to happen. If he goes, what are the names? What needs to happen?
Oh, y'all getting messy tonight.
Nah, I'm not gonna get into names, but I will pose this. With everything that's been going on, with all due respect to Cardi B, we need to get some spray paint, some stencils on out there Gibson Way and put "Am I the Drama" all up and down the street, because that's nothing we've had for like the last 20 years, and especially the last 4 or 5. Well, somebody will, but I don't know if a little bit of the shine has come off because of the turnstile at the athletic director's position, the state of Florida politics, and whatever swirling around our current president and the selection of the athletic director. There's a lot of things that could be a deterrent.
Yeah.
Not saying that it will be, because someone's always looking for an opportunity. And this is, once again, another opportunity for if we as alums accept it. I know they all accept it from one particular coach. But if we look at the cradle of coaches launching pad type thing and someone who's on the up and coming up and have them, but they're coming into a situation where the fans are restless, have high expectations. We have some things that are good, and we have some things that we have to ratchet up in order to remain competitive within the conference, on top of all the personnel things as it relates to dealing with the president, dealing with the BOT, because they interfered with our basketball coach and basically pushed him out the door.
Yeah.
Dealing with a whole lot. So somebody's going to have to really, really, really want to come here. And the candidate that the alums are pushing, he's a smart man. He's a smart man, and he knows what's up. And I don't know if I would have hesitancy around saying, "Hey, what's up?" Because I wouldn't want to put him in that position.
I ain't ducking no smoke, man. Look, we got a Valdosta State graduate right here. I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. It's 2 calls I'd be made. One, he used to work at Valdosta State. His first name's Tremaine. Like, I would make that call. He's applied for the job twice, and he's dealing with Hot Wheels as a governor now. He could deal with Ron DeSantis. He'll be all right. So, and he's not gonna be begging people to come to games and stuff like that. I would make the offer. And obviously, you gotta, I think at this point, one, to appease the fan base, and because he's actually having a really good year this year, his first winning season as a head coach at the college level, and he's kicking butt and taking names. I think those are your first 2 calls, him and Quinn Gray. After that, you kind of decide what you're going to do from there.
Now, based on, I guess what we affectionately call the YNBC, formerly the NNN, and from a couple of years ago when the candidates, I think the only 2 candidates I recall was that were on both the search committee and the search firms list were Colsey and I think McNair. But the search firm list had Tremaine on there, had the gentleman, I think is the assistant coach at Kansas State, Van Malone.
Had Tennessee State coach on there.
Yeah.
Was Smitty on there at 1.2?
Who?
Was Smitty on there at 1.2?
He was on the committees. He was on the search committees list, but not on I don't think he was on the search firms list.
Gotcha.
But there was some names, and I went back and looked. It's like, where are they now? And like you're saying, Reggie, I can't remember his last name.
Barlow.
Reggie Barlow is now at Tennessee State. Tremaine Jackson is now at Prairie View. The other gentleman, I think Terry Braden. I think he's the defensive line coach at Nebraska now. He basically
left Kansas City.
He left Kansas City. He left the NFL, and now he's the D-line coach at Nebraska. He basically backfilled the gentleman that came down to FSU. So I'm just looking at the names of people, and this is not throwing smoke at Colsey or anything, because he made the cut for both lists. But in terms of all the folks that were recommended going forward, the search committee was heavy on internal candidates. So I believe it was Colsey, Smitty Rock,
and
Coach
Billy
Henry,
Rowe.
Billy Roll, and Fred McNair. And then on the search firm, they recommended Van. I think they had like 5 or 6, maybe 6, but Van Malone and some of the other folks. I don't know if Terry Braden. I think Terry Braden was on there. Tremaine Jackson, Colsey, McNair, and at least one other person I can't remember. So there were a lot of options there, and I was checking to see who was still available, and everybody's got jobs now.
Yeah, I like the 2 names that you mentioned. I also like what I see some in the chats. I never understood people, but everybody who know. I thought Smitty Rock absolutely should have been the interim for sure, and a legitimate candidate for the real job. Smitty Rock checks a lot of boxes,
except for one.
And I know damn well we wouldn't have lost the Valley no times.
Nope.
The Dark Cloud defense would still be the Dark Cloud defense instead of the Sunny Delight defense it is now. So as I've said, I just personally can't stomach projecting, seeing what I would see with the schedule we just laid out, and the same results. And I would tell you, it would definitely be. I would still give them season tickets. I'm not like a lot of people. I'm in it to win it. I'm going to support my team. I'm going to support the guys. I may go tailgate early, but I go in the stadium. But
I'm gonna stop by that tailgate still. That been the highlight of my Saturdays this year. Ain't even been a game.
Right. And you don't have to worry about the mac and cheese being good either.
Oh yeah, the mac. No, don't even get me started on that. They had some there a few weeks ago. We weren't talking about nothing. Don't even get me started.
Man. Gerald, before we go to the break and let you get up out of here, man, we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about this Florida Classic. But how do you feel about it? I don't know if you saw the news. I definitely want to hear your opinion of it before we all kind of bring it back from the break. But Florida Classic's gonna be over there on the east side of town. How do you feel about the Florida Classic moving over to UCF in comparison to maybe some other venues?
Yeah, well, I'm not too familiar. I saw the news. I'm not too familiar with like the landscape of Orlando or anything like that. But I believe Camping World is about to get renovations or something. I guess you got to play it somewhere, right? I saw somebody throw out like the idea of Tampa, and I said it was just more doing Orlando than Tampa.
I ain't gonna move my finger, but
what about yeah? Like I said, I guess they got to play it somewhere. If they can't play it at Camp World, it'll be kind of different covering it, working it, at a different type of venue. But would that be something temporary? Would that be a 1-year thing or a multiple year thing while they do the renovations or what?
Right now it's a 1-year deal. So
okay,
yeah.
So yeah. It's just a year, keep it in the same city. That's what the Classic is. That's what the Classic has been over numerous years being played in Orlando. It just being a different type of setting at UCL. So maybe it might look nice in a different type of setting for that 1 year. That might be the Classic that how we will always remember this Classic. Everybody might remember that one Classic that was at UCF. For different reasons or anything like that. So. I'm ready to see what's going to happen with it though.
That's what's up.
Yeah, they got to vote. They board got to vote for it. I don't know why they wouldn't, because there's some financial incentives tied to it. you know, see, UCF is way out of the way. That is damn near Seminole County, right?
No, it's almost the Daytona. I ain't gonna hold you. I can get to Seminole County in 15 minutes. UCF is almost 45 minutes away. Bryan is like 10 minutes from UCF.
Right.
I saw somebody throw out Jacksonville too.
I would prefer it.
Well, I would definitely rather play in a pro stadium. Jacksonville is definitely the midway, but especially we talking about a one season thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely a midway point between both Daytona and Tallahassee. I wouldn't have an issue, frankly, with Tampa. It's about the money for me. We gonna play who we gonna play. We got to win no matter where we play it.
Yep.
So who
They
comes
win
up
in
with
Orlando this year. I need to change the scenery.
But yeah, I'm interested to see how that decision is made. Since does it automatically default because we didn't put it up for bid previously? So does it automatically default to Florida Citrus along with the consortium? That's my question. Evidently, with their board voting for it, evidently they've been authorized, and some kind of negotiating has happened for that game to happen at a UCF. But you know, that's a 44,000 seat stadium.
44,000 seats. And I'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and do it on this side of the break. But yeah. I think the benefit of UCF, especially for the FAMU fan, is seeing what Kelvin's been trying to get y'all mofos to do forever. Go see what a P3 looks like, and go see what it looks like when a school does it right. I'm not a UCF fan. My wife will tell you. My wife's a UCF grad twice over, and I don't boo them the way I used to, but I'm not a huge fan. But I'm better now. But when you go over there, it's a great experience from a fan experience. Everything's all in one place. They have like an athletic village. They have parking right there. It's not the easiest place to get to. That's going to be the biggest bugaboo. But the thing is, the press box.
Yeah, you won't have the community people at that one.
Won't have the community people there, but the press box. I think that is something that FAMU alumni need to see, because they have, I mentioned it the other week, where they have multiple levels. You can go for the high-end people to the lower-end peoples and have press suites, and it's a really nice venue. I think where you're talking about how people are kind of always clamoring to get those club seats at the Florida Classic, you're going to get a similar experience, but at UCF, if they open it up where they have the cabanas, they have a cabana club, and the press boxes on both sides of the stadium, I think it's really, if you have a visionary leadership, right, as athletic director, that's something that you can bring back to FAMU and say, hey, we may not be able to do it at this scale and with this kind of money, but we can steal some of their ideas, use their ideas as far as getting corporate sponsors and stuff like that, and bring those over to FAMU.
I wonder what the restrictions would be. So, as someone who's been all over UCF campus from a facility standpoint, I wonder how, their stadium is kind of like on the end of campus. And they have like a college town little setup near the basketball arena and what's that, the baseball field, I think it is. And I wonder, would they be okay with traffic, diverse traffic coming through that area? So to me, that's
it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
traffic there is a nightmare at UCF. Yeah. I will say that. Like, for those people who really hate getting in and out of Bragg, UCF is not the easiest place to get out of, and it's not the easiest stadium to get to walking wise. I've gone to a few games over there. Your seasoned Rattlers, you're going to want to have something set up, especially with the alumni base, the boosters, whoever, that really caters to that audience of people who are maybe a little older, who can't navigate across UCF's campus, because that's a big old campus. UCF's a whole nother city. Like, we don't go over there unless you got business over there, because it's literally its own city, and you just take the 408 till it runs out. Like, the 408 runs out at UCF.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't mind Tampa if they hadn't done us. I'm sorry. I still remember how they did us. I grew
Hey,
up.
man.
I'm still mad about that.
There was a time where, women couldn't vote either.
You're right.
Come on. How long are you going to hold on to this stuff, man? This is business.
It's business. And I think Tampa would be the best venue.
And I'm a rally who went to both.
Me too.
And I was there when, the mall was closed early. That last year that really made it what it was and pissed everybody off. And those hotels with those mandatory double nights and ridiculous prices, right? But damn, man, we hadn't been in Tampa in what 30 plus years
for the classic. I mean, the last classic we had was the Tennessee State game we lost, and then the last game we played was against USF because we were all there for the USF one. I think
a 1 year trial would probably be the ideal situation.
I was about to say, if I'm Tampa, nothing beats an apology like an apology that's incentive laden. And if I'm Tampa, I approach.
I don't care what you say. I care what you do. I love what you just said.
Yes.
I approach. Show me the money.
Yeah, I'm about to say it all comes out of money.
Money
gonna cut the biggest check.
And then you actually have a place to have a fan experience. I mean, I don't know how many people have been to Tampa lately, but you literally cross a bridge and you have Steinbrenner Field over there. You could have a fan experience at Steinbrenner Field and have the people in that area over there and have the people literally walk over the interstate so they're not walking in the streets. And so it really, to me, Tampa is the best area. It's just it has that really bad history.
Yeah. If the game's in Tampa, I'm leaving the game when I'm done my work, going straight to Ybor City.
You can go to Ybor City. Look, I'm just telling you now. If we going to Tampa, my wife's staying in Orlando. I'm hanging out with the dogs. And whatever happens with the dogs, stay with the dogs.
Sound like you might not be going there.
Look, hey, I won't be in Ybor City. I tell you that.
All right.
Well, Gerald, we appreciate you coming on. And for those who haven't seen, that is what UCF Stadium looks like at night. That is with the new tower, and they should be done with their renovations. They're renovating their skyboxes. It's going to be impressive. It's a beautiful stadium from the press area. Otherwise, the stadium does bounce. Like, they're not lying when they tell you that stadium bounces. It looks like Child's High School Stadium on steroids.
Man, look at that press box. I wish we had one of them.
Man, wouldn't it be nice? Boy, must be nice.
Well, hopefully we'll get this new leadership that's in place, since they got business backgrounds and political connections.
They got, played football at Florida State.
Show me the money.
They left a check at the Florida Classic too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, okay. All right, y'all. Well, let's get on a break. Gerald, we appreciate you coming on. Mark, we got to make sure because Marcus got a class to teach too, man. We can't be having Marcus out all night. He can't be getting in trouble either.
Yeah, man. I meant to say I saw Marcus showed up to work tonight.
Marcus is trying to stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
All right, GT. Appreciate you, man.
Have me on, man. We'll see what go down this week.
Well, let me ask a question. What you got coming up, and tease us a little bit about any future articles that's coming up.
It's hard to plan because you don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, today was the big one, but it's hard to plan anything else because you're trying to wait to see what's gonna come of it. Because you can have a whole plan and then next thing you know something changed, and now it's like, oh, now I don't got to worry about that again. I need to focus on this. So honestly, I don't even know what's next, man. Because we all just waiting to see what they got to come. Fam, you got to come out and say something.
Right, they do.
Even if you keep them, come out and say something.
Yep.
Come out and say something. You got to, just because now you leaving people wondering. So I'm on the lookout just like everybody else, man. And honestly, man, I'm getting tired of waiting too. So
I mean, him and Norvell can take a picture together. We ain't going nowhere.
Exactly. You see, Florida State kept pulling out press releases about they keeping their coach.
Yeah,
Fam can do the same thing.
Pray for Norvell.
Yeah.
God helps those who help themselves.
Y'all crazy.
All right, Gerald.
All right, take it easy, G.
Oh man,
UCF's got 7 home games next year. I was just looking at their schedule, so we have to work around that.
Well, I mean, they look for that kind of payday. They're gonna make it happen. UCF bought some money. I'll tell you about that. Because you remember after the last time we played them, I believe that next year they actually wanted FAMU to come back, but it was COVID. That was one of their most well-attended games that season, and we didn't bring the 100. Like that was just pure FAMU fans, and they were very impressed by our attendance because FAMU fans show up.
Yeah, typically.
Normally, yeah. Oh goodness. All right, y'all. Let's get a quick break in. And back for the commercial break. We're gonna come back more of the O&G Strike Zone.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
College football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information,
Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. The originals are back in the building, man. We one man short today, but we got Marcus back from assignment, Kelvin Rozier. Man, you know, Marcus, you got a little transfer portal news you kind of want to share with us, and you know me, I'm gonna bring some data with it to go along with your data. So, you know, do you want to share and kind of get ready for some of that?
Is it not sharing?
Oh, it's shared. It's shared. You
Oh,
know,
okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And we'll just give y'all, you know, my favorite fullback is leaving. I'm not crying. You're crying. Tallahassee Navy. You know. Let's see. There we go.
Yeah. I don't know if I put it on screen. If I put it on presentation mode, it might not, but there's only one slide so far.
Let's see. Yeah, try presentation mode. It should probably show it the full screen. So we'll have.
Is it showing?
Not yet. Nope, not showing. Just kind of showing the main one there.
But we'll just roll with that because it was showing on my screen and it wasn't sharing.
Okay.
We'll just go with this. So far, 6 players up through this evening that we've seen declare. And once again, that's all, based on, either seeing it or having Twitter or Instagram pop up with the information. So we have defensive end Antonio Kamen, declared on the 28th. And he's spent 2 years with us, came up with us from Pitt. Originally came out of high school at Tampa Bay Tech. So he declared on the 28th. Then after that, Andrew Ritter. And I believe he was with us 2 years last year and this year. And I believe, is he out of Leon? I think he's local, but I can't remember which high school.
Yep, you're right. Leon High School.
On December 1st, Amari Lee. He's been with us 2 years, and he's a transfer from either UCF or USF. Can't remember which one. He was with us 2 years.
He went to You Can't Finish.
Okay. So he declared in the portal on December 1st. One of our 1 year players. Then we get a series of 1 year players who happen to venture with us. So Jack Carson Wentz, who was a long snapper, came from Michigan State. He declared on the 1st, and on the 2nd, we had Daniel Porto, our all-SWAC first-team kicker, declare for the portal. And just today, tight end Miles Campbell, who came to us from North Carolina Central and originally started out at University of Tennessee. So that's what we have so far, and this is just during the limbo stage of the coaching move. And who knows what's going to happen if a coaching move is made, or if it's not made, how that's going to impact and affect the people of the players and their decision whether to stay or go.
Yeah, and that list, that's some guys who were major contributors, and one person, one number we might have given a hard time because there was a lot of exposure, but at the end of the day, those guys, they put on an orange green. They gave great effort, and I wish them well if they do leave, every last one of them, and I appreciate them for their contribution to FAMU.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the kind of the what it looks like with the portal now. That's why it's really important that you have a good culture inside of your locker room. And some of the things that been coming out, the favoritism stuff, people not getting opportunities in some of these cases. These guys who, like, Porto, kicking 50, 51-yard field goals and 17 and 21 for the entire year. You figure, kid like that gonna get poached. It wouldn't surprise me if he end up down south somewhere. But kids like Ritter, who came without a scholarship, who came for the love and brought into, a hometown guy, being a rattler and on every special teams we have, as well as being a great student.
Fiery, man, fiery. That was when we were playing FAU and getting our butts whooped. He wanted to get back on the field. Like that was one of the ones. There's a reason I say Ritter bothered me. And it wasn't that he bothered me as a person. He's a culture guy. He's a guy that you want in the locker room. You want him in the locker room because he's got a little MF to him. He's got a little MF to him that bleeds orange and green. There's something about wearing that orange and green and putting that rattler on the side of his helmet. It meant something different to him. And to lose a guy like that for any reason, as you spoke on, Kelvin, it's it's an indictment on the culture because you want those guys. Those are the guys that the fans resonate with. Those are the guys that get the fans to open up their wallet and say, hey, I'll put some money towards the Fang Exchange. I'll buy this merch. I'll purchase season tickets because when I'm looking at him, he's giving me what I feel like Rattler spirit and that Rattler whatever is.
And also to your point, now I've not met him, but just based on your description and seeing his play on the field, he made some key catches for us early in the season for first downs. But he's the type of player to carry the culture during all the churn and turnover with the transfer portal, bringing in new players, because you're having, like Coach Cozy said, I think a couple of weeks ago in that 220 club, he was trying to do a mix of high school, JUCO, and portal. And two out of those three avenues are players coming into the system. So you need someone who's going to be a glue person to say, this is how we do it. Kind of similar to how the volleyball team, like the young lady, Sydney said, and Ayani, when they were on the interview, they said that when people come in, when freshmen come in, we tell them, these are our expectations. This is what has been set. This is our culture. And if you lose a player like that on the football side with all the churn, just from a player standpoint, and now if it comes to fruition that we have a coaching change, who's left to keep the culture?
Yeah, Bishop kind of made that point too about his journey, coming in as a walk-on and then a coaching change and then getting his opportunity. But the whole time he's working and going to class and doing so much, even during the season outside of football. But when those transfers came in, he told you, they came in, they had to buy into what we were doing and what our culture was. So that kind of stuff is important. And I tell you, when you lose the locker room and you have culture issues in your locker room, you can't be sensitive. And this kind of stuff, things happen. People say things, and they don't stay in the locker room. So I know there's reasons. Each kid have their own reasons for moving on. But that I believe that is the biggest indictment for me about Cozy Stan. He has a culture and a locker room issue. And I see no evidence that he has the guts to make the kind of decisions he need and the kind of separation he needs to make in order to fix that. I don't think he can fix it. And if that's the case, he cannot come back.
And I think part of it, and this is where you're kind of looking at, why is he leaning on the transfer portal? I mean, you get a guy like that, Franklin, to come in, and I don't know if we really truly used that Franklin properly this year. I mean, he had 1,000-yard rusher potential, and he ends up with like about 500 to 700 yards this season. And he really showed you he's probably got NFL caliber talent. And just look at first contact with him was consistent. And I think him and Grable are probably the only kids who maybe play in the NFL off this roster this year. But you're also losing those caliber of seniors. You're going into a contract year. I think that makes it even more difficult to come back in and say, all right, we're bringing this guy back and expecting better, because on your contract year, you can't bring in a bunch of high school kids because you're not going to get the developing kids more than likely. And then even more, you don't have time to develop them. Like the same thing I said with RJ at the beginning of the season, like if you go with him, this is going to be something where he's going to grow through attrition. And I don't know if you'll be able to get the gift of that time. That's what you're really doing if you go after a lot of high school kids, where you're going to bring in kids that you really have no intents of, no purpose or intention of developing, because you really won't get that time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And by the way, don't forget, don't underestimate, the SWAC is getting better.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I see Prairie View got quite a few signings today, as they're prepping for the SWAC championship game. So, I haven't canvassed the whole conference, but I'd venture to say I'll say at least 3/4. I saw 3/4 of the conference got a signee just by searching the social media, looking for FAM, and I see other schools pop up. And to our knowledge, we haven't secured any.
No, and as you mentioned, also look at who they secured and where they're. We got a quarterback, I believe, is from Colin Community College. Colin is, I mean, they're not world beaters, but they're known for being pretty solid. Like you start to see where, as much as we're bashing our coach for hitting the transfer portal, you're seeing the other schools are getting transfer kids, but they're the Marquise Bell transfers versus the other guy transfers. I'm not gonna say no names for the ones who left, but so it's the guys who, hey, I left this school, I'm going JUCO, I'm going back, and those kids, even with the new JUCO rules, they're almost like freshmen that got extra time now. So that's something else to look at. Where are you able to go into those places and compete against those schools and get those JUCOs to come to FAMU? Because let's be honest, you bring Cozy back next year, he's going to lean heavy in the transfer portal because he don't have time to build it. So he's got to get it out somewhere that's already processed and previously developed.
Well, I mean, he got lean on the transfer. Didn't we have like 28 to 30 transfers on this thing? Yeah, I'm just talking about that he brought in just for this year.
Mm-hmm. And how many of them played? That's the other part.
So, yeah, you got to bring in ball players at the end of the day who win and who know how to win and can help implement a culture. Because right now, I would say change the culture. I don't even know if we have a culture at this point right now.
Nope. But I will give Coach their credit. We did have our recruiting coordinator. He dropped this out there. I saw it this morning. I wasn't overly excited, but I was hopeful. And shout out to whoever did the graphic. The graphic is solid. It does kind of give those who are the recruiting fan base some hope. But I don't see much athletes who have committed. And much to Troy's point, we had a JUCO All-American. I've heard he's since hit the transfer portal.
Yeah. That says something about, the locker room, the culture. Folks don't believe in it. Don't want to stick with it. Something ain't right. Something rotten.
Now, missing something that is right, though. We got FAMU volleyball. Let's kind of jump over there. They are going to be doing the Texas two-step. And this team shocked us, man. Nobody counted them out, but a lot of folks didn't count them in either.
Yeah, I seriously thought this is the year we're going to get got.
I did. Nope. I thought we were going to get got.
And I was like, man. Once we went on that run at the end of the year, I had a feeling, and I knew we were hosting. I had a feeling, and quite frankly, Coach Gokon kind of. We say, hey, we've been preparing since the middle of the season for peer review. And, this might be the one time the one seed go down. I understood what the message was with that.
Oh, yeah.
So I really did believe we were going to beat peer review. And if we did that, then, of course, at home, we were going to run through everything else. So, yeah, that is the bright spot. They ain't do us no favor, though.
No.
The number one seed, and then along with the number one seed, you got a perennial power, Penn State.
Right. So, USF no slouches.
So us in South Florida, we'll be back in Florida shortly.
Yeah, it's a gauntlet.
Right.
I mean, what, Texas, did they win it last year? I think Texas won it last year.
I think they defended champions. Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, Penn State won it.
Yeah.
So they basically put us in a bracket with two of the last three champions or the last two champions consecutive. So yeah, thanks NCAA committee. But on a quick side note, and someone brought this to my attention, Coach Trivanov, our former coach from 10 years ago.
Yeah, he had Chicago State, right?
No, he left Chicago State. He got them in the tournament last year. He's at Long Island University, and he's got them in the tournament this year. And his old school, Chicago State's got one win.
Wow.
So they went from tournament, like their conference champions and the NCAA tournament representative to one win, and he's got his new team. And I guess he left this summer. I was looking it up once I saw that. Somebody brought that to my attention. So he's got Long Island University in the first round. I forgot who they're playing, but I think they're playing another powerhouse like Wisconsin or somebody like that. But yeah, it looks like they landed in Austin. They were showing pictures. I saw them on Instagram and Twitter just before we came on. So I think maybe around 6:30 to 7 Eastern Standard Time. I just saw the pictures around that time frame. So they're in Texas, and that explains why Coach Gokhan was unavailable for the 220 QB club because he was traveling. So we wish him well.
Unavailable.
Yeah. So wish him well.
Well, I'm just glad that they repeated as conference champs. And again, he's got a stacked team coming back. We've been fortunate because he has a great locker room and culture that we don't lose volleyball players. And they earned this trip. And I just hope they just make the most of the experience, enjoy it, see what, top-notch facilities and support, and because Texas has an awesome campus, beautiful, awesome facilities. It's a really progressive city. So I hope they enjoy that experience, and when they come back, that they are motivated to try to get to the next level. They have the type of team coming back, along with the two ladies who had to sit out this year, and what he's recruited. They have a chance to be a dominant team next year, out of conference. So that's what I'm looking forward to, for this team to make that next step next year. But good for them, man, and go play and try to get you a set.
And they've been track team. Those teams have, they got a little heat going on. So, we got those spring sports, but look, y'all had Coach on the other week, and it seemed like Coach was quiet. But as soon as it got quiet, Coach started talking again. Marcus, you want to mention a couple of those recruits that, we've been able to get on this track team, and really kind of what that says about what Coach G's doing over there?
Yes, actually, I was trying to get to my little spreadsheet. Oh, that's why it's not doing it. Okay, save. As far as track, actually going back to volleyball, we got if we hit that real quick. Wow, let's see, 26. I think we did get at least one male track commitment, and we have someone that we're trying to recruit. But on volleyball, we have Simone Robinson from Shadow Creek High School in Texas. And I noticed that we're starting to pick up our Texas recruiting between her, Natalie Johnson a couple of years ago. And for class of 2027, another young lady just committed, I want to say a week ago, from the same high school, Shadow Creek High School in Pearl Land, Texas. So she's class of 2027. So I don't know if Coach Gokhan's going to get a chance to visit, recruit, or do whatever he can while he's out there. But that's on the up and up. And there's another young lady from Atlanta for volleyball. As far as track, for next year, the only person I've seen so far, a young man by the name of Malachi Dawson. He just committed last week from Long Beach Poly High School. And I know we did offer, I think we had, Coach went out and visited another young man, I believe Noah Smith, who's also at the same high school. So I haven't seen anything from him yet in terms of commitment. And that's all I have for track, but I'm still trying to keep that open. And I know Rasim is helping us with that. So I haven't seen anything from a track standpoint other than a couple surprises here and there, or late name additions to some names that snuck on the radar over the summer for class of 2025. I think we reviewed those already when the school year started. But yeah, for the spring sports, we have a triumvirate of freshmen that signed on a couple weeks ago. And I think we reviewed them a couple weeks ago, but Rihanna Weaver from Atlanta, Aliana Stubbs from Riverview, from Sumner High School, and Eliana Brinson from Parkview, high school, once again in suburban Atlanta. So, Coach Beal's putting her team together and building up the roster so we can see that particular squad also gearing up and being contenders for years to come.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's one of the things when you're just talking about Coach Beal, and I was just pulling up some of the recruits that you mentioned that is signed with FAMU. That's the benefit to having a coach who's not only a champion but that has connections. One of the things with Coach Beal, she's championship coach at the high school level, so however you feel about it is how you feel about it. But it's also meant that she has connections, and I think when you're looking at going forward in any sport, connections matter, relationships matter, and all things, but especially relationships to people who know the high school talent. I mean, we're sitting there looking, and we're in a time with Coach Beal where she knows this high school talent. She knows them personally. She knows the coaches, and now she's getting those kids to come to FAMU. And let's call a spade a spade. They're willing to come to FAMU and grind it out, and they're committing to the culture of FAMU that she's built and that she's developed. And it goes back to what Kelvin says: if you build a culture, people will overcome some of the stuff. Does FAMU have the greatest softball facilities? No. Are they as bad as the baseball facilities? Absolutely not. Are they college level? Yes. But at the same point, you have those players that still come out there. They give their all. They're good students, and you're continuously seeing more players wanting to buy into the culture. And that's something that you're going to continue to need at FAMU. You're going to need that from coaches and assistants and others, where they're building a culture that the players want to come to, but the alumni want to invest in.
Yeah, while we talking about Olympic sports, man, let me just talk about the calendar real quick. Sneakingly, indoor track is here. Mm-hmm. Men and women's track, they're at the Clemson Open in Clemson, South Carolina, starting December 5th. Then we talked about men's basketball, who will be in the Orlando tournament at ESPN Wide World of Sports arena, right? On December 5th. The first game against Barber Scotia starts at 5 p.m. Also, the volleyball team plays the University of Texas at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on December 5th. And then men's basketball has another game. I think it's Tuskegee on December 6th. And I'm not sure of the time of that one. So we still got some fall and winter sports that are finishing up. But that's what it looks like for this week.
And for those who are in the Texas area, they have the tickets that are available. Marcus, I know you mentioned that, you were able to maybe share it with some of the alumni groups. If you're in that Austin, San Antonio area, it's an hour drive if you're from San Antonio. Go support the Rattlers. Go support the home team there. You don't get to see them very often. Show up. I promise you, they will greatly appreciate it. Wear your green, less orange, for obvious reasons. But all Florida people should wear green for this one right here, and hopefully, we get some decent results.
Yep. Oh, might as well mention why I mentioned that. Might as well mention that the March 100 will be in the Red Lobster Band of the Year program in next week, right? That's when the Celebration Bowl is when? The 12th, December 12th, because they moved it up a week, the 13th. So that is coming up also. Well, the band will be in it'll be them and Southern for the Division I category,
which is interesting because that was the matchup that a lot of us lamented during the season that we didn't get to see. Like when FAMU played Southern, the 100 stayed in Tallahassee, and we got a lot of complaints. But now you got what you wanted. You get in Southern and FAMU, and I think that's probably out of the bands that stuck it out. Those are definitely two of the best, if not the two best, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and yeah, Jimmy Mack. The only one the only player that has declared thus far for the NFL is and of course his eligibility was up his dad, right? I didn't see anybody else.
I haven't seen anything from Ashton Grable yet. I fully expect if this is his last season. He's drawn attention all throughout the season. I definitely know NFL scouts were looking at him. Full transparency, the Dolphins literally stayed the entire FAU game, and they looked at Ashton Grable. He wasn't the only one they looked at, but for FAMU side, Ashton Grable was the one they was looking at. I don't remember if they really peeked at that much, but they went over to the offensive line side and were very interested in Grable.
Okay.
All right. Y'all almost ready to sign off? Or we got another segment. What we got?
Let me just check and make sure we covered everything. Yeah, we covered everything FAMU related.
Oh, we forgot about the big game though. SWAC championship, Marcus. Before we let you go, because I know you got to be somewhere. SWAC championship game is coming up. We're gonna skip that last commercial break. SWAC championship game is coming up. It is between Jackson State and Prairie View University. Prairie View, was it A&M University? Who you got? And why?
And Jackson's hosting.
It is in Jackson, Mississippi. I fully expect a crowd of 35,500.
I've not seen Prairie View play. Now, we know that Jackson is heavy on the run game, and they have a couple of dynamic runners, and I think they were either first or second, and I haven't looked at the stats, but just going off of memory, that first or second in the SWAC and rushing. And I don't know if Jacoby and Morgan's going to be back. And, coming back cold, it might be better to keep the player you have in now. I just don't know Prairie View, and I'm not doubting Prairie View. I just haven't seen them to know how they handle, how they look on run defense to kind of put pressure on the quarterback and see how. But they have enough players who all-star accolades. So I'm going to go Jackson in a close one. Score, I'm going to say 24-21.
I think this is a evenly matched game also. Just for reference, Alabama State played both. Alabama State lost to Jackson on a last-second play, and they beat Prairie View kind of on the last-second play. So whereas I think Prairie View beat Grambling, Jackson lost to Grambling. So these teams are really evenly matched, to be honest. Jackson is at home. They've been there, done that. So that should mean something. But I don't know how serious they're taking Prairie View. And Tremaine Jackson is not the one to be told with. And he's going to have his guys ready, motivated. I think it's going to be cold and bad weather. I think that neutralizes is equalizes. Prairie View has like a top defense in the SWAC. They can play defense. So I honestly think this is a 3 to 7 point game either way. I'm gonna go with Jackson. I'm gonna go with Prairie View. I'm gonna go with Prairie View. Even though Prairie View said they're gonna bring 7 buses, don't bring 7 buses to their own stadium.
Ooh, the weather is looking frightful. It is going to be cloudy in the 50s. I'm surprised Kelvin went that way because I was also going to go Prairie View in an upset. I think something about this Prairie View team and their leader. Not doubting TC. I think TC is a great leader.
You know how to coach.
Yes, he can coach his behind off. But there's just something different when your boy up there singing them old mega hymns, Atlanta. Oh, and I mean, it's just something different. Like he has that team bought in. I just feel like they're going to come in and they're going to match physical for physical with Jackson State.
They're going to be aggressive.
I think they're going to come out there with a chip on their shoulders. Like that kind of that FU that we're talking about Ritter has about himself. it's a lot of those at Prairie View, and they realize they're the underdog. They're the team they've never gotten to this point in recent memory and won, whether it was FAMU, whether it was anybody else, Jackson State. Prairie View lost this game. This is your chance to finally go over there and knock a mofo in the mouth in their house and win the SWAC championship. I got Prairie View by a touchdown. Now, the Celebration Bowl attendance ain't gonna be worth the darn, but I think a lot of the people who are just in the Atlanta area will show up, but it won't be as well attended. I think if you are the bowl, you want Jackson State.
All right.
But if you're watching it, I think
Well,
if it's Prairie View and South Carolina State, it's a very watchable game.
You do, but this will be the third Jackson State, South Carolina State matchup in the last 5 years. Is that not saying, and this is, no reflection on South Carolina State, but, is a repeat, one team repeating going back. We had that in North Carolina A&T, but having the same two teams compete, because what was it, 2021, Deion's first year, I think that's when South Carolina State upset them. And then the next year, Central upset Jackson State. And then last year and potentially this year, if Jackson State wins the SWAC championship game. So 3 of the last 5 games will be the same teams. And I don't know if the fans will have fatigue, whether the casual fans or even the supporters of the team is like, them again. So you want to make sure you keep some fresh blood. Or how do you balance that between that and knowing you have teams that bring a crowd?
Right.
Yeah.
Jackson State Southern Jackson State, South Carolina State would definitely draw better numbers.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I'll be honest, if I had to pick right now, I got South Carolina State over everybody.
I don't know.
I
love Chennis, but I don't know. Shoot, both of the coaches in the SWAC ain't no better. He ain't better than neither one of them. They about the same.
You're right. But I don't. Like I said, I don't know why. I just feel like South Carolina State got that little bit of something. Now, I'm saying for me, it's like
he got his head thumped last year.
He did. He owed to forget that, but he got a better quarterback this year. That quarterback last year was horrible.
Yeah. We'll see. I'll be watching that game, but my plan is I'll be in Albany.
Who's gonna win that game? Before we let Marcus get up out of here, we get ready to shut it down. We got a Rattler trying to get him a raise. Sorry. Who's gonna win that game?
Are they playing Newberry?
They're playing Newberry, who just beat the University of West Florida in Pensacola
by 3. 4.
I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if you saw that game. Newberry had some explosive plays early on. Their left side of their offensive line struggled at times with their all conference defensive end from West Florida, PJ, my cousin. But he definitely had an excellent game there. But I'm wondering, can Albany State slow that team down? Because they had some big plays and they showed that they had some speed on that Newberry team.
All right, Mr. Gilbert, I'll find you. I'll try to find you when I get in town.
So, what did you see, Kelvin, that gives you hope? Who you got, Albany State or Newberry?
Well, I watched. I wasn't at the game, but you got to remember, Albany State already played Valdosta State, who beat West Florida also in West Florida the last game of the season to win the conference. So I think Albany State and Newberry, similar teams. Albany being at home and their defense being what it is. See, people look at Albany State offense. Albany State has the number 4 defense in all of D2. And they battle tested, frankly. So if they play a clean game, I got Albany State by 7.
You got Marcus?
Oh, I don't know enough about either team, but I'm just going Albany State.
I've watched both of them, but not a lot. Obviously, I've seen Albany State play at Bragg, and then I did watch Newberry play on Saturday for most of the game. Obviously, once it was time for our game, went off and did our stuff and kind of half watched it. But I'm going to pick Albany State at home. I think it's going to be a nice story for them to get to the championship. I don't know who they play in the championship, though, but that's going to be interesting.
All right now, all 4 number 1 seeds are still hosted and left in the D2. So you're looking at Kutztown and some of those programs. If they make it in this round, to me that's going to be tough. But for this round, they can beat Newberry for sure.
Yeah. So this is the regional final, and then the next is the Final Four.
Correct. Yes.
Yep. Okay, so we got Albany sweep on here. Come on, Quinn. I should pick Newberry just so we don't have that jinx. But Brian picked Newberry. How about that?
I'll see you, QG.
Hey, you already know all us recruiting Quinn to come home. Shoot, what you mean? Hey. Oh,
Quinn knows how we are.
Exactly. And last thing before we get up out of here, got to make sure we celebrate the FAMU League Giving Tuesday, $67,000 and counting.
Yeah. That's not nothing to sneeze at. It wasn't necessarily the most highly promoted campaign. So kudos, good job. Let's continue to do more. I think Rick Kinsey and softball say they were about 8,000 away from their campaign of raising 40,000. So I plan to probably when I get off here make my contribution again. I already made a contribution, but make another contribution, helping them get over that hump.
Yeah, I think most of your point, and we have to do a better job of advertising that Giving Tuesday event. It should have been a countdown. Should have been a Giving Tuesday is this date, and give, especially our demographics, our population. We know for our folks, hey, when our household, just because you're the breadwinner don't mean that you winning at bread all the time. It means sometimes you supporting other people too. You got to make sure that we can put FAMU in our budget. So going forward, I would love to see all of our groups make sure that when you're having days where we are giving to FAMU, give us a chance to budget for it. Don't just tell us the week of, because you call folks like me on the week that after payday, and I paid all the bills. So you might get a little something next week that won't go towards that number, but it'll go to the university.
Right. Absolutely.
Awesome. Any sign-offs before we go? Marcus, what you gonna be doing this week? You'll be back next week. But yes. What all you got going on? And what are you looking forward to in this coming week?
Well, I'm probably gonna get a chance to take a look at Quinn coaching this weekend. I'm trying to catch volleyball. I'm assuming it's going to be on ESPN Plus. I think it was on ESPN Plus last year, as I remember watching us play in Nebraska. So I'm assuming it's going to be on an ESPN stream network. So I'll watch our ladies play on Friday night. That's about it. I guess keep an eye open, keep my ear to the ground and see what happens with the BOT and BOT meeting tomorrow and Friday. See if there's any fireworks. There's always fireworks. Somebody says something. And I don't know, is this the first or second one since Ms. Johnson's formally been installed? I don't remember. There may have been one in October. I just don't remember.
I believe this is our first since Dr. Johnson has come on through.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see how things play out with the dynamics and just I guess all boards are political, but I don't know. I equate them to characters, but I see a lot of, if you remember that character from The Matrix, the one who sold them out and said, all I want is steak, and all. I get the feeling there's a lot of them on the board. So we'll see how things roll.
Oh, yeah. Let me jump over. We're going to let Kelvin finish off. So as y'all can see, though, we do have the Cash App up there. If you would like to make a donation to the Black College Sports Network, please scan that, drop a little sub in there, a little something in the kitty, as the old folks say. Me, myself, Keith Hadley, FangsUpPodcast. We'll be back tomorrow. We won't be here for a long time, just here for a good time. Hopefully we have some coaching news to talk about, but we're also, just talking about the other stuff that we've kind of gone over a little bit, but probably a little shorter context for this week, and try to leave us something with a high note, right? I'm looking forward to FAMU volleyball. I am also looking forward to the meetings tomorrow. Board of Trustees meetings. Want to hear some of these numbers. What are some of the things they're going to change? Some of the things y'all, or they, not y'all, that they said that they were going to be looking forward to. I want to see them hold people's feet to the fire because that's just what we do as FAMUans. And like I said, with the coaching search, I want to see search decision. What's going to happen? Are we getting a new coach? Are we not getting a new coach? Because I feel like we've already seen that it's affected recruiting to a certain degree. Because I know in good conscience I couldn't advise a high school senior to commit to FAMU when I don't know if the coach is going to be here tomorrow, let alone next week. So, but we'll be back on Thursday, tomorrow, and then Sunday, and then Monday, our last Rattler review show, season finale. We're going to wrap it up and kind of bring it all together so that it all makes sense. And that way we kind of end up with a high note, not what we've been getting from the football team for the most part.
All right. So just like I said, I'll definitely Saturday plan to be in Albany, watching them play and do a little tailgating like I did last Saturday. I'm also, as my host mates have talked about, be very interested in what's happening with the board of trustees meeting tomorrow and Friday. And see what is discussed, the direction or lack thereof. And I'm assuming they're going to have to really prove some contracts like they do AD. And then, that scene from Green Mile where they were rehearsing what the actual execution day would be like, and they had one of the prisoners acting as the person being walked down the Green Mile. But that's kind of how I picture what's going on with this coaching search right now. I mean, this coaching decision. Right now, coach is walking a mile. And we'll see if but either way, it has to be communicated what direction we're going. And then we're going to support whatever that decision is and try to make the best of it. Once the decision is made, that's what you have to do. Make the best of the decision made. So watching that, also be watching basketball. I expect men's basketball to get 2 wins in Orlando this weekend. And of course, watching women's volleyball to just root them on and support them. And thank you for watching the O&G StrikeZone. We'll be back, as Keith said, on Monday, 7 o'clock for our season finale of the Avengers, the football review. And this will be a season review. And then we'll be back again next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And we think that our fourth leg and our host, Brian, may be off assignment by then. We'll see. But we really appreciate you watching the show. And everybody, y'all have a good night.